engine, chassis, wheels, gasoline, start. Go FD! By your powers combined, I am Marco FD. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 2 of F1 2014 Sprint Championship Fernando's final victory dash. We are here at China and we are on the grid. Lewis Hamilton in first, Rosberg in second, like usual, and we start in 6th, and our teammate Kimi in 9th. He hasn't been starting in high positions so far, I believe. He hasn't out-qualified us yet. We got 4 lights, 5 lights, and away we go. We are behind Ricciardo, but we have a great start. Our tires are sort of getting hot, but they're cooling down already. Into turn 1, we go past Bottas and Vettel, and oh my god. Well, that's China for us then. There's no recuperating from that, so I decided to retire. Next is Barcelona, and yeah, let's hope we are less unfortunate here, because I just bumped into Rosberg and somehow I spun. So we got again Lewis Hamilton in pole, Rosberg in second, and we start in 11th with Kimi behind us. So we both have a start outside of the top 10. But yeah, here we go for Spain. We got 4 lights, 5 lights, and away we go. We have Bottas and Perez, and we go into mixed-three. There's no time for lollygagging. It's time to overtake some cars into turn 1. I go to the right and I just go past like a big bunch. I touch Rosberg again, almost spun, but yeah, this time I was a little more careful on the brakes and I survived, but I did lose a lot of positions, so I wasn't back in P10, so we have to go back to the front. And we have Rosberg in 5th, and we lose the back end again through that slow or fast right-hander. But we don't have the right amount of speed through there, so the car didn't stick at all. So now the cars in front of me are yeah, running away with it, and I am struggling to keep up with the top 6 really, which is a shame. I don't have the setup for this track yet, so more bunch of random put together aero and balance and crap. So you will notice for some tracks that my car drives a lot better. That means I already have a setup for that track. But there's also tracks where I don't, so I just have to wing it, and sometimes it pans out good. Sometimes it doesn't, like you see here, because basically I lose the back end on the final corner. Other than that, the pace wasn't too bad. I mean, I got through all the corners well, but yeah, not with the speed that the others are going. And we have now button on our gearbox, 2 tenths behind us, while the front runners, top 6, are running away with it. As you can see on the minimap, in lap 2 now, we managed to make the back stick on this corner this time. Let's hope we can do it on the next one right now. A little, let's say, more gentle on the throttle. There goes the back end. I think that was because of the wrong gear. It's alright, you can shift up right away and there's no consequence to it in this game. As long as you don't plow or throttle it in the wrong gear, you should be fine. So we get our left front a little dirty, so we have to be careful through the next corner at the end of this straight. A little easier through there, as you can see. Take the inside apex line beautifully there, and yeah, over that little crest in the road or the track. Yes, there seems to be like something that always displaces your car somehow. Oh, that's a nice corner, Mark, huh? Didn't take any curb there. Anyways, final corner before the final lap, we managed to stick it in the right part of the track, so the car got stuck as well, which is good. But still, we can get rid of Button. He's still 5 tenths behind us, and as you can see, a giant FD train, or in this case a Alonso train, is forming behind my red Ferrari. And yeah, I always try to pull away from others, but yeah, if the car doesn't allow me to, or the track or the setup, then yeah, you're gonna have scenarios like this. And still, you can see the cars in front of us. They are still about the same distance away from us, so I haven't gained, but they also haven't pulled away from me. It's sort of a stalemate, and it's a good thing that it's the third lap, because if I have to drive for 20 more of these laps, which are kind of boring, here we go purple, I'd probably retire at the end of the race, because no one wants to drive in no man's land, right? Anyways, this is the final sector of this Catalonian track in the Spanish Grand Prix of this sprint mode career 3-lap sprint. And we come home in 6th, I think, and Daniel Ricciardo takes the win for Red Bull, which I like to see because it's realistic, because he did pick up a couple of wins in the season so far. And he will be surely finishing in a stellar 3rd in the Drivers' Championship, which for him as his debut year at Red Bull is like, it's really good actually. Anyways, yeah, that's the race for today. We have 6th position, a couple of points we pick up, and as you can see, 2nd in the Constructors. So now it's time for Monaco. So it's Monaco, and as everyone knows, this is my favorite track. We have Lewis Hamilton in pole, like for so many years time. It's like a broken record. We start in 4th, which should give us a opportunity into the first corner, or at least the first couple of corners. So we have 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and away we go once again here in Monaco. One of the most prestigious tracks of the calendar, and into turn 1 we can see that Hamilton shoves out Rosberg, and we mock them both on the inside into P1 up the hill, and there we go. This has been a brilliant start for me, because I'm not good at Monaco, and you can obviously see that from there. I haven't driven it yet on this game either, so yeah, first turn went well, the second 2 went worse, and I am in 1st gear, but I just can't get the car around, and I don't understand why, but I guess I need to steer more. So we go through the tunnel for the first time, and yeah, Hamilton already bridged the little gap I had to him and Rosberg from having contact into turn 1. Oh, there we go with the back end again. I have to get off the power completely there just to get the car back on the right track, and I turn in too early there in the wrong gear, lose a little bit of my wing. At least I managed to get through the swimming pool section without any scratches. And this corner is alright as well. I mean, it looks decent from what I am looking at right now, and since this is post commentary after all. So turn 1 once again we take a little too much of the curb. So corner cuts, it's a valid corner cut in my opinion, so the game was totally justified warning me about that. So we take this corner now a little better. Last time we went with a wheel against the barrier, but we are early on the power, and we have the back snap on us once again. We take a little more of the inside line through this corner, and a little more speed. That's how I managed to get through it this time, a little better than the last lap. It's like a little it's like progression you see from each lap. I hope, but with coupled with some mistakes in between those. But so far we're doing so good, so far so good, and I feel like somehow the car has more control on this track on this year's game than it did on last year's game, which is kind of strange, because most people say that Monaco isn't really drivable anymore. Well, I thought it wasn't drivable last year. It's very easy to correct yourself in these cars rather than the last cars. Last year's cars, you had to like dedicate yourself to a corner once you set it up, and yeah, if you set it up wrong, then basically your car just went against the the wall on the barrier. So we post a 1:16 flat, which is a very mediocre time, obviously. But we lose more of our wing, and then we have Hamilton taking the opportunity, overtaking me, which is normal in my opinion, because okay, too early on the power there, and we are stuck in the barrier, and we have 6 other cars passing us, so we're back to 5th position now. Great job, Marco. From P1 to P5 in 2 corners. So yeah, you can obviously see I love Monaco for that, because there's such great fairness in the track. So another corner cut. At this point, I don't think I even noticed it anymore, because I was kind of pissed off at myself for crashing out, and or not really crashing. Well, anyways, this is just terrible. As you can see, it's just a joke, this last lap. I mean, if you compare it to the last lap, it was much more collected and much better angle steering corner, like lines I took. But yeah, we come home in 5th place, which is a mediocre result, let's be honest about it. But it's alright, it's part of the season. It has ups and downs, and we reached a little down point here. Let's see what happens with the Drive Championship. Still in 2nd, so on to the next track. Right, it's time for Canada. Oh, Canada. My home and native land. But not mine, actually, because I'm from Holland. Actually, here we go. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. We have Rosberg on pole, actually, this time. We start in 7th. And let's hope we have a good start and that we get to pick off some drivers in front of us. We have Bottas and Ricciardo in our sights, and Paris behind us that we have to cover off. We have 4 lights, 5 lights, and away we go here in Canada. And we have a decent start. Tires overheating again, but that usually happens on starts. And yeah, we just launch ourselves into the back, because I want to be taking as much positions as I can. We even mock Hamilton around on the inside here, coming out of turn 2. So it's time to chase down Rosberg, and he has actually had a great start. Well, he started on pole, so he's probably good at this track AI-wise. But I am not a stranger to this track either, and I like it a lot. It's one of my favorite street circuits, actually, because I generally don't perform well in Monaco, like you saw like 2 minutes ago, and Singapore isn't one of my favorites either. Way too technical, way too many turns in my opinion. There's no time to breathe. And since I sometimes like to take a drag of my cigarette on a straight, like tracks like China are ideal for that, but tracks like Singapore don't even give you a chance to light your cigarette, let alone take a nice drag from it. So you have to sit with it in your mouth, and yeah, the cigarette. Let's be clear about that. And yeah, not ideal in my opinion. But yeah, it's all about the tracks. I turned in way too early on lap 2 for that corner. I still have the braking zone from last year in my head, I guess. And I'm also too eager on the power coming out of the corner, because I thought I would have the traction because of the, let's say, layout of the corner, going uphill a little bit. Uphill corners usually have more traction, like downhill corners like the one in Spa, the right-hander at the start of sector 2. It's a very important corner, but it's also very yeah, it's lack of grip, and have to be very careful around it. But yeah, this track doesn't seem to be so hard traction wise. Some corners have some tricky traction zones, I guess, but like this hairpin, I don't even feel like the car is stepping out on me one bit. I just go through it not really carefully either. So that's, in my opinion, a good corner just to take risks in. Just like the hairpin here, I take a little too much curb, and I touch the wall of champions as well. But it's not hard to not fuck up that corner. So the game is very forgiving in that sense. And another early turn in, don't get a third chance for it either, because this is the last lap after all. We do get a nice run out of turn 2 or turn 3, I guess, and we are way too early on the turn in again here. which yeah obviously is from 2013 because you had to turn in around that point. So some tracks when I don't really remember driving them, my muscles always seem to go back to the default 2013 turn in, because there's probably muscle memory built up in there from 700 hours of play. Some people yeah kind of judge me for it, but I don't really care, because if you like something you should just go for it, in my opinion. And if you like to play a certain way, then I think no one can be the judge of you driving that way. For instance, I use a racing line on this game. I do use manual gears on this game. I used to drive auto gears because it worked pretty fine in the last game. They suck on this game, so I had to learn manual. So I was struggling, but yeah, we come home in second, and that's a very good position for Fernando, which would make his position in the Drivers' Championship also a little more solid. We did 4 races today. That's because China was pretty much a fiasco. So today we'll be finishing here at Canada, and we're second in the constructors, and we only have a handful of points behind, so that's all right. We do our little victory. I'm not gonna call it a dance anymore because it's not really a dance. Although what Nico is doing on his car could be some sort of dubstep kind of dance, I guess. I can put music under there next time and see how it turns out. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.